There's a version of you that is so clear on what God has called you to build. She's disciplined. She shows up every day. She finishes what she starts. But then there's also a version of you here right now. The one who knows what she should be doing, but she can't seem to follow through with it consistently for more than 2 weeks. I want to talk about the gap between these two versions of you, because I don't think it's a willpower problem. I don't even think it's a faith problem. It is a systems problem. And this is something that we are going to fix in this video. Now, let's talk and dive a little bit deeper on why it is that it is so important that if you want to be somebody who does things or is consistent with things that God has placed in her life or called her to do, this is what you need to understand. There is something called the start-stop cycle, and this costs you years. Every single time you say you're going to start something, then you stop, what you're actually doing is you are finding away evidence against yourself. You are actually showing yourself and proving to yourself that you are the kind of person that doesn't follow through. And that story compounds. And after enough time, it becomes a cycle. And before you know it, that becomes attached and part of your identity. You begin to identify yourself as somebody who never follows through. So eventually, you just stop trying. You stop thinking that you can achieve that God-given dream and desire that God has placed before you. Or let's talk about the person who seeks motivation rather than building structure. Motivation is an emotion. Okay, it rises, it falls like the seasons. You are somebody that you feel that you need to be motivated before you act, but that's actually backwards. It should be action that creates the motivation, not the other way around. So every time you you want to feel or you feel ready, you can't wait to feel ready. It is if you have the system, if you have the structure, that structure should help you to be able to move forward and deliver that thing, whether you feel like it or not. Or some of us, what we do is we see discipline as a punishment, and it's not. It's actually, if you can understand that discipline works with you to be able to be consistent. Discipline is love in motion. It's how you show God that you take certain things seriously. Think about it. If you want to lose weight, you want to get to that ideal size, you want to fit into that dress, or you're trying to get your summer body ready, you are going to build a system or a discipline to be able to get up, go to the gym, whether it's sort out your eating, whether it's doing home exercises, whatever it is. You have to be disciplined over a period of time before you start to see that outcome and that result. Because the truth is that I want to tell you is that this inconsistency that you have, it's not a character flaw. It is an architectural problem. And the moment you stop treating it as every single time you fail to be consistent, man, I'm a failure. But I want you to start treating it as it's just a design problem. And I need to do something about this design. When you start thinking about it that way, everything changes. So I actually now want to introduce you to the consistency system. This is the 4-part faith-led consistency system that I want to show you. 4 things. Number 1. The first one is the anchor. Okay? After the anchor, we then have the container. And I'm going to go through and talk about these in more detail. After the container, we have the cadence. And after the cadence, we have what? The accountability. All right? The anchor, the container, the cadence, the accountability. Let's talk about this in more detail. So when we talk about the anchor, we are talking about why you are building this thing. I want to let you know into a secret. If you want to be consistent with something, learn to have a covenant with God. Yes, before you build a system, you've got to make a decision within yourself that come rain, come shine, come storm, come wind, you are going to show up. It's not a goal, it is a decision. Have a covenant between you and God that regardless of how you feel, you are going to show up and execute what it is that you have said that you are going to achieve and do. Because this is the foundation of everything. Now, I want us to turn to Joshua 24 verse 15. So if you want to grab your Bibles, Joshua 24 verse 15. Now, it says for me in Joshua 24 verse 15. It says right here, but as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. Now, this is Joshua saying this. Now, if you think about what does that actually mean? That is a declaration. It is saying that, listen, regardless of my circumstance, regardless of if the sun rises up, regardless of if I feel like it, me and my household are going to serve the Lord. This is a covenantal statement. So my question to you is, do you have a covenantal statement between you and God? Because your consistency needs to be the same. Not I will show up when I feel inspired, or I will show up when I feel motivated to. It's got to be no. I will show up regardless. Why? Because I have a covenant and agreement with God. So I want to challenge you, get a piece of paper, write it down, and write it down somewhere that you will see it every single day. Whether it's on your bathroom mirror, on sticky notes, whether it's in a journal, write it down in there that you will see every single day, and you will know that this is something that I am taking seriously. Let's now talk about the second one. The second one is the container. Now, what is the container? One of the things I want you to understand is that when you are inconsistent, inconsistency thrives in being vague, okay? In order to make this work, you have got to be specific. You've got to be really intentional about the language that you use. So instead of saying, I'm going to work on my business today, that is not a container. You want to say something along the lines of, I'm going to write 100 words of my journal course content every morning between 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. That is a container. The more specific the container is, the easier it is to show up inside it. So again, one of the easiest things that will help you to be able to be and show up more consistently in your life is the one thing rule. What is the one thing rule? It is, you can only have one active container at a time. One project, one output, one daily deliverable. Everything else can wait. Where people get tripped up is they're trying to do several things or 12 things at once. I'm sorry to say this, you are not superhuman. No. And when you try to do 12 things at once, something always fails. So if you are going to focus on what it is that the God-given call, the God-given assignment, that business that God has placed on your heart, you got to have the one thing rule. What is the one deliverable? What is the one output that I want to achieve today? Like for me right now, I've had a very long day. I'm recording this video late or in the wee hours of the morning. But I've said to myself that I am not going to sleep until I have achieved and recorded this video, because I will not be doing that tomorrow. So the more that you remember this, the more it will help you. Let's move on now to the third one. The third one is the cadence. The cadence is your non-negotiable daily block. Okay, this is your non-negotiable commitment that, listen, you don't negotiate with your feelings, your schedule, or other people, what other people want. No, this is the one thing in your day that happens regardless of what goes on. This is the one thing you commit to, and you do not negotiate with it at all. Now, most faith-led women like you and I, we have non-negotiables. Some of our non-negotiables is prayer time. It's our intimate time with the Lord. It is going to church. It is spending time with our families. We have non-negotiables, but we hardly ever have non-negotiables for the assignments that God has given us, and that has to change. Honestly, I want to encourage you and let you know that your calling deserves to be a non-negotiable. Why? Because God doesn't negotiate. He doesn't. When he is clear about something, he sticks to it. Could you imagine if God was somebody that was always negotiating, or somebody that never stood and executed his word? No. The Bible says that his word goes forth and it does not come back to him void. It goes out and accomplishes the very thing which he intends it to do. Let us learn to be like God, okay? Let us learn to have non-negotiables. There should be things in our lives that are non-negotiables. A locked in block of time that belongs to God, that belongs to you building and working on your assignment. Have that. Do not negotiate with that. Put it in your calendar. Treat it like a doctor's appointment. Book the time in your calendar and honor that time. All right. And the fourth one is the accountability. No more building alone. Isolation is the enemy of follow through. We've already established this before. This is the fourth part of this simple faith-led framework that will help you to show up more consistently in what God has placed and put in your life. Because trust me, when you understand that building in isolation is a tactic and strategy of the enemy, because accountability is such a powerful thing. And let's talk about the 3 levels of accountability. Number 1, tell someone what you're building when you plan for it to be done. Level 2, join a community of people building the same way. Like, for example, I have Planner to Profit. Level 3, build in public. Post your progress, your wins, even your hard days. Public accountability can be the most powerful form because your audience is unlimited. And trust me, you never know where your story can get to, the people that it can reach, the opportunities that it can create. So remember those 3 levels, okay? And try and implement them. Do one today. Level 1, tell a trusted person what you are building and when you intend to finish. Level 2, join a community that is building consistently. If you want to, come and join us in the Planner to Profit community. And number 3, build in public. Document it on social media. If you're on a weight loss journey, whatever it is, you're building a business, God has given you specific assignment, build it. Don't be afraid. Don't be ashamed of failure. Or maybe you did this and it didn't work. Think about how many other people have gone through that journey and have done the same thing, but instead they decided to just give up. But you have decided to keep pressing on. Do you know how powerful that is? And I want to use that. I want to talk about my testimony right now. Now, I've never been a social media person. But God has slowly worked me into becoming a social media person, or having to be consistent on posting on social media. About a year ago, God gave me an instruction, and that instruction was to post on TikTok or go live on TikTok daily from Monday to Friday at a particular time. Now, trust me, if it wasn't for the fact that I love and honor God, and I too had my own covenant with him, I would not have shown up every day consistently, Monday to Friday that year. And God rewarded my consistency in ways that I could only dream and imagine. And it truly showed me how many of us are missing out because we cannot be consistent in the things God has told us to be consistent in. So that is my testimony. Things changed for me. And I really know that this framework the 4 faith-led system that I led you through, having your anchor. Number 1, what is your covenant with God? What is your agreement with God? 2, the container. 3, the cadence. 4, the accountability. It will help you in more ways than you know. It will give you a peace, okay? Now, I need you to understand that consistency didn't make my calling feel easier, but it helped me to be faithful. That feeling, knowing that, man, I am showing up, not just for myself, but I'm showing up and fulfilling what God has placed inside of me, man. That feeling is like no other. So I'm going to challenge you right now. Build your own system right now. Go ahead. As I said before, write down your anchor. I want you to find a piece of paper. I build consistently, because, and fill in the rest of it. Step 2, name your container. What is the one thing you are building? What does done look like? Be specific. We're not into wishy-washy things. Remember, we're not into being vague. Inconsistency and vagueness are friends. We don't want that. We want specificity. Be specific. Be clear, because that leads to consistency. And finally, set your cadence. What time every day are you going to show up? For how long? Go and put it in your calendar now. And the very last one, almost forgot, is accountability. Who are you telling today? What community are you joining that will help you to be able to fulfill this thing in your heart? Now, this is what helps to activate what I've just taught you. The 48-hour rule. The system only works if you start within 48 hours of deciding to start. Not next week, Monday. Not when things are less busy in your life. Within 48 hours. This is your commitment to the commitment. And I want you to remember, you don't need more motivation. You just need a better architecture, a better structure. Build the system. The system wants you to succeed. When you build a container, when you build a strong container that no matter how you try to fail, you cannot, because you built it in such a way that what? You must succeed. You must move forward. You must be consistent. Listen, you will show up every single day. And then do you know what you do? Let God do the rest. Because He will. When He sees how you're building faithfully, showing up every single day, God will do the rest. Easy. No long thing. So, if you want to put this system into practice inside a community, I want to invite you to join Planner to Profit. This is our exclusive school community where not only do we talk about purpose, but we also are building businesses, building and taking ideas and turning them into purposeful and profitable income. If you want to know more information, to look at the link in the description box, and I will see you there.